Elliot Anderson going to Manchester City from Nottingham Forest for 130 million pounds. So the $1 million question for Don, is he worth 130 million pounds?
130 after that
Million.
season with Nottingham Forest. Well, we never expected that. I mean, we did talk about it briefly how essentially he's going to be in the transfer market. A lot of clubs are going to go after it, but 130 million, I couldn't make that evaluation make sense.
I don't think he's worth 130 million pounds. Now,
Thank
here
you.
are the reasons. First of all, England players are overhyped by the English media. They get the inflated pricing on the transfer market. Declan Rice is a good example. Arsenal played hunting 105 million pounds to bring him from West Ham United. Well, he did give them a Premier League title, but on an international level, is he making a difference for England? Will England win the World Cup with Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson in midfield? I don't think so. Are they better than players like Pedri, Gavi, to an extent Rodri of Spain? Hell, even Rabiot of France? Casemiro of Brazil? I mean, Casemiro is a very far-fetched example, but at that age, let's say at Elliot Anderson's age, 25-year-old Casemiro, even are they at the level of, I don't know what to say, an international player who's going to make a difference for his country? I mean, forget the English Premier League and the English media. That has been hyped up a lot, and we have seen that way numerous times. As an England supporter, I can relate to it. I think it's over the top, but he's definitely not worth 130 million pounds. If you are, then you're going to make a difference. Game changing, match winning difference at a World Cup international level. I don't think we saw that against Ghana. We did see that against Croatia to an extent, but Croatia has an aging midfield. Croatia wanted to play the way England wanted to against the Ghana team, physically strong, pressing in a center mid. I did not see that Elliot Anderson playing like 130 million pounds. Even at Nottingham Forest, a lot of people said that, oh, he did great, maybe because due to partially fantasy Premier League, it was a biased thing. No, I'm just serious. The pricing, also because he was playing for Nottingham Forest, but I don't see the spark of 130 million pound midfield. It's not like he didn't come to Manchester United, and I'm sad. I was happy that Manchester United didn't pay 130 million to get him, because the last time Manchester United paid 90 million pounds, 89 million pounds for Paul Pogba, look how that turned out. So it's not about always paying over the odds to get these midfielders. And do you really believe? The question is this: he's better than what Barcelona has to offer or Spain has to offer. Let's say Pedri, a young Pedri, or a Gavi. Is he really better than them? So if he's 130 million pounds, then how much are they worth, right?
If you do a side-by-side comparison really quick, Declan Rice graph after he joined Arsenal is just that he got kind of better and he became the anchor. And we know credit to Arteta for making him that. The good thing in that in under Thomas Tuchel's or England, he is actually has that a little bit of a roam. He does get very advanced box to box, and we see that he's like he's a terrific shooter of the ball, Declan Rice, and he's holding the ball, he's running and very physical. And Declan Rice is actually maybe put on more muscle than before. Like he's a force. He's the wall in the midfield. Now, if you compare that to Elliot Anderson, if you see his graph in the Premier League in this season with Nottingham Forest, he didn't start off as Elliot Anderson. He started off as Anderson. Yeah, okay, he's in our center mid. But over time, his passes got better. He passes into the final third. He would advance. He would have they also Nottingham Forest also went through a change in manager in the midway through the season, right?
Two managers.
So in that two managers. So during that time, the last manager, I forgot his name, he would give him a little bit. Pereira, thank you. He would give him more room. So Anderson would come in and lock in those passes, scored a goal. He had assists. He would actually be an anchor for Nottingham Forest in the midfield with his blocks and clearances, and he dispossessed the other teams a lot of times. So that made him catch the eye of Thomas Tuchel and grab him from that. Now, based on the English roster they have, out of everybody in England playing that role, they needed someone beside Rice who would actually stay back a little bit. Now, Manchester City, after Pep's going out and them going for this kind of midfielder, this just makes it like as if like they're just messing with the transfer market at this point. Nottingham Forest, with that money, Nottingham Forest, there's so much that they can do. They can
Yeah.
invest it into like three great investments, and and they will make sure, that they have Nottingham Forest plays for Europe. They will go for a top five finish next time.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think from the Nottingham Forest standpoint, it's an incredible, lucrative deal that they should go ahead with. And Man City, if Elliot Anderson comes in and if it's another Pogba or something, it's just going to be terrible for Man City.
Yeah, it looks like he's a Rodri replacement. I think Rodri's leaving Manchester City this transfer window, and he's going to be the replacement. Young blood, energetic, can press, play the passes, box to box, Maresca style of play, I guess, to an extent. I think it begs the question: is he better than Caicedo? All right, I mean, Caicedo. They also paid a lot of money for Caicedo. Definitely, he's not better than Declan Rice yet, but I mean,
Yeah,
these are the
no.
questions. I'm not just comparing in the English Premier League. I'm looking
Hmm.
outside of the English Premier League.
Oh
Let's say
yeah,
the
yeah.
Spanish.
You actually asked me about Pedri Gavi. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
he's unmanned. Pedri and Gavi have proved that they are, one of the best duos in world football and European football. So he's nowhere near them right now. Obviously, Pedri Gavi are a little bit more experienced. So maybe Anderson will take a little bit of time. So I think I'll agree with you that he will, for that price tag, he has to have had maybe one or two more seasons of more success and more, I don't know, more blocks and more passes and more goal contributions for him to get that price tag.
Also, I think we can compare him to Vitinha and João Neves of PSG. So similar. I mean, João Neves, Vitinha more advanced, different type, but João Neves more like a box to box, can score the
Hmm.
goals, aerial threat,
Hmm.
and all the stuff. So yeah, I don't
Maybe.
know. I
I
mean,
wouldn't compare him, but we can. For the sake of argument, we can.
he's you think he's the level of João Neves?
No, I don't think so. Not yet.
Or not yet. But so then, if he's worth 130 million pounds, then João Neves is like what, 180 million
On
pounds?
180, 150, yeah. Wow, Neves. So if this is the case, this deal is not done yet, right?
And it's almost he's gonna have a medical in New York.
Yeah.
Almost done.
If this takes place in the New York City FC medical facility,
Yeah,
and he goes to Man City, wow, Neves, if he wants to get out of PSG, I don't see that happening. But if he comes to the Premier League, his valuation has to be more 140, 150 million, and PSG would do so much with that money. They would, they would
yeah,
go
but
for.
I don't think Neves is leaving. Or also
Mhm.
Chouameni is another target that has been another name that has been talked about. He's 20.
Linked to the Premier League.
Yeah, yeah, he's 26, so maybe he's not going to be as expensive as Elliot Anderson, who's
Hmm.
23 years old.
Hmm.
Age is on his side. Chouameni,
Hmm.
age is probably not on his side. 26, exactly at his prime. So, but yeah, I think ability wise, skill wise, I think there are better midfielders out there. But I think Manchester City are paying a premium to get these young blood into their team.
Mm.
Kind of reminds me of when Manchester United used to do that back in the day, like
Yeah.
throw crazy amount of money, like for Paul Pogba, Anthony, Fred, to Alexis Sanchez.
Mm.
These are players that all Manchester City wanted at times.
Splash the
Even
cash.
even Cristiano Ronaldo at times. But it looks like now Manchester United are like, because their boardroom is run by former Manchester City directors. So I think Berardi and Wilcox are looking at it like, nah, we're just gonna go for Alex Scott, um, pay less amount of money, try to squeeze as much as we can from that profile, right? Or they're more focusing on data. Yeah. So I guess that's it. I think Fadlan is getting bored in this topic. He's like, oh my God, Elliot Anderson, 130 million
I
pounds.
mean,
Who
if he came
cares?
to United, I'd be more awake.
I don't think anybody's coming to United that fancy. I think it's going to be Alex Scott. Maybe you're going to
Oh,
be,
not still not bad.
maybe you're going to stuck with Tyler Fletcher and Jack Fletcher as center
When
mids.
well, if he comes to United and Alex Scott actually scores, I can finally say the phrase from Back to the Future.
You can. I think
Great Scott.
Alex Scott is a big possibility. Matthias Fernandez is also apparently a big possibility.
Apparently.
Apparently the journalists cannot figure out who's reporting what, right? But Carlos Baleba is definitely a possibility. Cheaper option.
Oof.
Pay 40 million, 45 million, 50 million pounds. Get him on board. He got legs. Even though he cannot pass, but just he got the stamina and the legs. That's what we need at times. Anyways, I guess we answered the question. Elliot Anderson is not worth 130 million pounds, but Manchester City are throwing money at players like crazy, and we'll see how he performs in the next season. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, ladies and gents. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
Take care.